Oh man, what an unfortunate Friday. What's going on, guys? We're going to be talking about my absolute f up on Friday. I had a great day Thursday. I believe I took 3 or 4 trades on Thursday. They were both all wins. I got a 200% gainer, held the full size position, pretty much up 200%, like 150%. And then runners ended up running like 200 and something percent. Very clean trading on Thursday. And what did that probably result in? That probably resulted in me thinking, I'm him, right? We're going to break this down a little bit. Oh, not that one. We're going to go into paint and we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about what I screwed up on and why I had those thoughts in my head, why I revenge traded on Friday after a loss. First of all, number one, I was in a I'm him moment, right? And when you are in a I'm him moment, right, you're going to get humbled, right? And that humble, when you get humbled, usually this humble is a fat loss, right? It's normally a fat loss because you're over trading. You think you're someone you're not. You're not respecting the fact of the market telling you something or having patience enough for the market to tell you something. You're not following what the trend is telling you. You feel like you're Superman and you can't be stopped. Therefore, you are in that I'm him moment from the days prior of trading. Then you get humbled, and that humbling is going to hurt. It's going to hurt, but I like it. I don't mind it. Right? This right here, guys, this humbling aspect of it, getting shit on after a good day, really reminds you that, the market ain't easy. This ain't easy to trade. Sometimes you don't stay level-headed, right? I wasn't level-headed. So 2, wasn't level-headed. I wasn't realistic. 3, wasn't following plan. Simply put, wasn't following my plan. I had a plan last night that if volatility stabilizes up here, we're probably going to see a blow off top into the Friday. What happened? Blow off top. I tweeted it the day before. I didn't follow the plan. Wasn't following plan. Someone in live mentioned, I'm not blaming anybody, but someone in live mentioned Nvidia. I got it in right away because something clicked in my head telling me like the market might take a turn for the worse, and Nvidia looked like a good potential downside move. It wasn't, right? So wasn't following plan, Nvidia, as well as just the overall market, right? My bias on Nvidia was to short, but yet again, guys, environment over setup, right? So 4, environment over setup. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, we've been in a market where we're moving up on extensive volume to the upside, increasing volume, right? But then, when we stabilize this move, yes, you have flat volume up here, but then you have one knife to the downside, decent volume behind it, but that's also heading into a weekly candle close, guys. There could be higher volume on Friday. So this is all about your environment, right? So we're going to review everything that happened. This happens to everybody. If they say it doesn't, they're lying. I'm not just saying that because it happened to me today, but it happens to everybody. Don't even listen to someone that talks about, how they haven't lost or they're undefeated. No, you're not. No, you're not. I don't care what you know, who you know, how long you've been in the game. You're not undefeated. And I know people who've been doing this for a very long time. You could have several red days a month and still be profitable. Anyway, let's just take a look at the overall, glimpse of the market. I'm gonna obviously clear out my levels. I had some levels, but we're not gonna look at those. We're just gonna look at the daily chart. We're gonna look and see, where the key pivots are gonna be. Right, we had a trend line right here. Okay, right, we had a trend line right here. We had a massive move up. Decent volume on that move up, and then kind of just a matching sell on Thursday, right? And I talked about how we're going to need a correction, right? We're going to need a correction into 435 or 370 on QQQ. That was exactly about 370. 435 was on SPY, and that was, I think, pretty accurate as well. If we go take a look at SPY, all this really was, guys, was a pullback, right? The daily chart, boom. It was 434-ish, right? So what does this go to show you about, the market? First of all, we're in resistance, right? We obviously have a major daily resistance up here, right? And that's kind of where we rejected. We got the false breakout above. We bled the day after. We bled on a bond auction news, right? And I think what we're doing is, when you come into these hourly time frames, what really is this, guys? It's sell, 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 right? And what's this selling into? This is selling into some sort of higher time frame hourly ranges of pivots, right? If you take a look at this, what is this? That's an hourly support, right? This is your most recent price action. This is your most recent hourly support, right? We're chopping around that, and then we gap up off of that hourly support, that higher time frame support, right? This is a technical breakdown level, right? And this is your technical breakdown level right here, or you can even do this wick from yesterday, right? And what really happens? You're in between an hourly support. You're pushing out into the open, right? You're getting this sell-off in this correction for now just potentially a higher low, right? There's no really sign of really shorting this. I was looking at a 0.618 fib, right? It pushed into equilibrium. It started selling. Volume was getting low. Spread was actually kind of like, it looked to start getting aggressive, right? And then this kind of leg up was really starting to put me in this like denial kind of phase or not denial phase, but like a short looking bias, right? And all this really was probably waiting for was some sort of clock change. Once you get that clock change, why not just wait for 11 o'clock? I should have waited for 11 o'clock. Boom, clock change, high volume, slicing right through all of this resistance. Get the beautiful retest right above. And my emotions were already out of whack here because I was taking random stabs at NVIDIA shorts based off of the daily chart. We'll go take a look at NVIDIA. I was taking NVIDIA shorts like on this retest of this 476 higher time frame level of liquidity, which is basically, coming off of this wick high, this resistance over here, something along the lines of this, and then a false breakout yesterday. I figured when we would retest this would be the spot of resistance. And I figured, we might trickle a little further down on the indices to see something further down. But, did it work? Not really, right? Didn't really work. AMD was obviously flying. Shouldn't have probably shorted NVIDIA. Shouldn't have played NVIDIA, simply just looking at the candle structure, looking at the wicks, looking at how trappy this price action is. I bought down here. I averaged in a little bit here, went like break even, and then it just completely ripped right through. Not really a lot of volume. Really not much I could do about that. Someone mentioned NVIDIA chart to me. I took a look at it and I bought it like 5 minutes later. That's already how I know my brain really isn't there. I'm not being level-headed, and I'm just taking a stab at a chart for no reason, just from a daily bias and environment over setup all day, guys, right? We've been in a bullish market. We're kind of just consolidating up here. We're coming into this very pivotal weekly candle closure. And I thought that weekly candle closure and that very pivotal weekly candle closure was really, really serving a bias in my head, right? Because when you really take a look at this, guys, the Thursday candle, what it was honestly, it was pretty damn close. It looked pretty close in terms of like what could have really happened, right? It looked like we could potentially see a sell-off, and that could be a liquidity trap off of that spot, or it looked like it could be potentially something in terms of like, I'll let you guys know. Here it was. So this was the weekly candle chart. It looked like this could potentially pull down into Friday for the weekly candle closure, but that's all speculation, right? That is all speculation. That's all just, something in me thinking that we're going to be in a little bit more of a two-sided market for a little bit longer of a duration, and that wasn't the case, and I got absolutely melted from it. And that's going to happen, guys. Obviously, I wasn't really thinking right at the right time, but that literally happens to everybody. And like I said, if someone acts like that never happens, don't even listen to them because they probably don't trade. Next, we had low volume consolidation on Wednesday, right? And then we kind of just had that matching sell volume on Thursday, right? And it was based off of a bond auction news piece, right? So whenever you go into the 5-minute chart, you see this thing gapping up. I wouldn't jump the gun so quick to really be shorting this one, especially for the seasonality effects that we're seeing. Vanna charm flows are going to be hitting the market, meaning, acceleration of a move higher supported by Vanna charm, which is stock buyback. Covering positions, right? So it's like, there's going to be so much that, positive equity flows hitting the market, heavy gamma strikes leading into the Q1 of 2024, leading us higher into the end of the year. There's a lot of catalysts, not necessarily catalysts, but a lot of reasons as to why to, really be positioned long up here, right? What could I have done better? I could have been very level-headed. I could have waited for the signal, right? This is a very pivotal day considering that this is the weekly candle chart, guys. If there's going to be fireworks for the day and you think that there's going to be some sort of major volatility, do you need to catch the first hour of price action? No. I was more or less just like, it was a foot on the gas environment for sure, and I thought it'd be a two-sided market. And I wasn't really thinking right at the right time, and I kind of just took a stab at the short side too early before I got that signal. And then when that volatility started to really pour in, the volume started to come in for the day. It was unfortunately the buy side, and I got absolutely squeezed out. I noticed a solid amount of top tier traders on Twitter that I know also got beat up on any sort of put position as well. It's kind of curveball. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think that it would be that effortless of a move higher. But yet again, that's all speculation. That's all just my own brain telling me something that isn't in front of my face, right? What is in front of my face right now? In front of my face is an uptrend. In front of my face is a bullish looking recovery in a strong weekly candle close based off of pre-market, based off of this higher low. There are so many reasons as to why to probably look long rather than short for the end of the week. And what does it also have to deal with? It really has to deal with staying very patient, right, guys? I was looking at an Apple short here. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at Apple shorts. I saw tape start flipping off of 184, a failure to hold previous day high, right? Once I saw this start slipping underneath again for the consecutive second time off a previous day high, I figured that this might start drawing down, right? But that's not the case at all, guys. I mean, this is a double bottom support, right? Probably want to wait for confirmation. There's not a lot of volume. It's decreasing on the way down. And overall, there wasn't a lot of equity that was relatively weak, right? Microsoft was basing that whole move, no major volume coming in, any sort of clock change that we did receive, there was no volume pouring in, right? So what does that mean? I mean, that simply means, guys, if, I had a level here on Microsoft, right? This is my first time on the charts. 366, I had a level, which was this previous high. If I simply just wait for this previous high and I'm looking for a breakout with decent RR on this trade, what do we look at? We're looking at, high volume push, low volume sell into a nice hammer bar favoring continuation, filling this bar by bar FVG, retest of 366, boom, perfect trade, right? Perfect trade, targeting a new high a day. That's probably like a 4-to-1 RR trade. I could have just waited and took this trade at 11:30 in the morning, right? But yet again, I waited. I tried to front run. I tried to catch a big extensive move to the downside there was no signal for it, right? So what does that mean? That means you got to just simply wait there. You got to wait and see what's going on for the day, and from there, trade what the chart tells you, right? I saw the lack of a retest of pre-market high / 15-minute orb high, right? So this was around my price target, the 436 range. So I own, that was the NVIDIA shorts I owned. That was at 1037. Yeah, so we got that major range expansion literally 8 minutes later, which was really unfortunate. Not going to lie, there wasn't really any signal here until names started to really break out. I probably should have cut. I unfortunately held this one minus 50% all the way back up to here. Very dumb. I mean, I wasn't heavy sized. I didn't lose a ton of money on that, but like just not uncalled for. 1 minute of NVIDIA currently shouldn't be sized with anything you care about. I did talk about it. That wasn't that bad of a loss, right? It was also I don't know why I took that, man. I do not know why I took that. Okay, so the next one, trade after, right? I was still a little bit level-headed. This extensive of a push on the 11:30 clock change on this kind of volume, it really did signal that we could potentially see a bullish continuation type of day, especially for the sole reasoning that, you know, this could be pushing up, eliminating some supply out of this spot right here, and then from there, just, you know, seeing the correction and following with the trend. And that's exactly what happened. But why did I short this? I actually did kind of snipe this little spot. That was at 11:18 a.m. You go over to 11:18 a.m. That is right here. So I think I took it on the high of this candle, risking this candle high. And what this really was off was just simply coming down into this FVG. This was a major 1 minute imbalance with no retest and just a market order type of push right through your 15-minute orb high as well as your pre-market high. I was looking for a retest into this spot. So I did catch like a 70-cent move on a 0 DTE SPX contract. I was a little bit too far out of the money. And I took them from 90 to like 150. So I got like a 60% return on that, targeting the 436 spot. That was at 11:31. I said that all the way up here. Here's 436, 15 cents above. You still got to start taking that, especially for the sole reasoning that pre-market highs right there, as well as the 15-minute orb high. Very well executed trade, but just an in and out scalp. That trade only took from 11:18 to 11:36, so not even 20 minutes, right? About 20 minutes. But yeah, I was also kind of trading the short side trade off of this like supply, this wick, as well as a wick into the FVG and a rejection on high volume. Pretty solid trade considering the fact that we left behind imbalance. I think that needed to fill. On this clock change breakout, very parabolic breakout, right? So I wanted to get in and out of this short for just a small correction. Boom, executed perfectly. I should have been looking long for more opportunity. I tried to short this motherfucker up here again on this FVG fill. So I was looking at this whole imbalance candle right here. For no reason, too. For no reason. Look at the volume on it. There wasn't really any sort of alarming volume, and it was followed by 3 subsequent inside bars. Do you think I should probably be getting out of that trade? Probably. And that was just where I started to overtrade. So I was still holding the further out strike. Didn't really care about that one. This one was about half my original sizing, so it was a bigger size than the NVIDIA trade for me. And then I did try to also trade this one more time. I half sized, then I full. This is where I really started screwing up. I full sized this. First of all, 12 o'clock p.m. Should I be full sizing a trade at 12 o'clock p.m.? 12:08 p.m. 0 DTE on a Friday with potential premium decay in play? Nah, shouldn't. Because what could happen at 12? Chop? And I'm fighting trend and it's chop. So is that a high probability environment to be trading short, counter trend? With no volatility stepping in unless I get some sort of major volatility coming in off of the 12 o'clock clock change, which is already passed. No, it's not a part of my system, and I'm revenge trading because I was pissed off about NVIDIA. So, yeah. I bought in at the midpoint of the FVG, bought in a little bit more at the top, basically chopped around, decayed my premiums, and then a massive 12:30 clock change, volatility stepping in, massive volume out of nowhere. Shouldn't have fought trend, but that is also very fucking unlucky. I don't give a fuck what you say. When was the last time we've just seen these massive random high volume actual breakouts? When have we seen this at noon or 12:30? Not really often. Yet again, thesis was, kind of scalping for a higher low, getting out, looking to trade upside, right? This is weird right here. Go find me something that looks like this. You probably can't. This makes sense. Something that looks like this, breakout, higher low, boom, puts off of the breakdown retest, continuation with the trend. It all makes sense, but it's just that environment over setup, guys. This was a very pivotal weekly closure, and whoever wins it is going to hammer the other side. And that's all it really was, guys. So what caused this? What made me really start, over trading? Not really sure. Just to say I'm up a solid amount to end the week. I even said the day before that I'm going to come into Friday with a risk-off approach, and I completely abandoned all my roles and all of my plan, my educated, thorough, well-thought plan, and I just went into an over-trading state of mind, a denial state of mind, a ego protection type of thing. So yeah, NVIDIA dumb trade, not needed. Daily bias trade. This doesn't correlate Mixwell with zero DTE. SPX initial trade. I did really like that trade. It was definitely a little bit risky considering that I was fighting trend. But if I was going to play a spot on the chart, this was the best signal of the day, at least for counter trend. This one was fucking so dumb. So dumb. There wasn't anything telling me to really short this. I think I was just more mad. So then I just did some profit rolls in that trade, and it just was a mess. That's where I started to get shit on for the day. NVIDIA didn't hurt me too bad. And then yet again, still on tilt. I did say that the same exact time. I was just posting it for transparency purposes. SPY 0 DTE short, 2:23 p.m. Here's 2:23 p.m. up here. Yet again, no true signal off of this spot. What is this? This is like, sub 440. When you see no true supply being unloaded off sub 440 and it's holding higher low structure, it's just going to be a path of least resistance. Boom, supply removed, supply removed, supply removed, supply removed. You might get a small knife, but is it a high probability? Not necessarily, especially the fact that bids are stabilizing this price for higher lows and stabilization above this higher low, right? So it's probably just going to break through and continue, right? So I tried to short that. I said I was on tilt. I said I was targeting, 439 on a de-hedging type of trade. This whole de-hedging process could have just been happening here. Could have also just been happening in the midst of this push higher, right? It's all an auction, guys. It's all about who wins. It's not about like a side that needs to be de-hedge favoring sellers. Obviously, there was a mass amount of buying happening on this day. I will have to say, though, I did catch a little bit of a push down here. Like a 50-cent push. I got a $15 pop on premium. I did notice Apple was bidless for the short time being, right? This looked like it was going to potentially start reversing to the downside. But when you really zoom out, it's probably just a with the trend type of scenario. And that's exactly really what it was, right? All it really was doing was holding this previous low. Very simple whenever you zoom out and you're very level-headed. When you're very level-headed, guys, you don't normally make mistakes like this. So I also noticed that there wasn't a stable bidder off of a massive daily level. That was previous resistance turning to support on QQQ. But yet again, you got to zoom out. You got to look at the wider perspective of things. Was there any supply being unloaded up there? Was there any signs of a reversal coming? Maybe, but it was off potential exhaustion. And do you think exhaustion in the PM session leading 30 minutes into power hour, is that more speculation or is that more of a signal? Well, we can't really tell if it's necessarily exhausted, right? That just means low volume, no liquidity stepping in. There's no new waves of sellers or buyers stepping in, right? So do we can't front run some sort of speculation of exhaustion, right? That's just me not being level-headed, right? Me revenging based off of being pissed off from previously. I also said I do not like the untapped highs on ES. If I don't like something, why am I trading it? Let's go over to ES. This was an untapped high on ES. I figured we would draw immediately to this untapped daily resistance high. Look exactly what happened. We tapped to that high and we sold off after the market closed. Unfortunate, man. Very unfortunate, but what can you really do? Right? So it ended up being an hourly liquidity sweep into the close of ES mini futures. We'll see what happens in the next week. But yeah, this message right here tells it all. I mean, I did warn you guys how many times in a row. Really wasn't saying you should be tailing me. And yeah, this is the result. So let's just go over a couple reviews. Let's just talk about what I could have done better. First of all, made my day easier. Patience. I know that's not how you spell it, but I'm spelling it like that because that's how you should spell it. Patience, right? 2, ranges. I traded like on Nvidia. Was garbage. Super garbage. Ranges I traded on Nvidia was really garbage. 3. Wait for the sign. 4, thesis shouldn't be speculation. 5, step away. Thesis shouldn't be speculation or just react to price, please, especially when you're trading 0 DTEs. Daily chart biases shouldn't necessarily matter until you wait for higher time frame signals, right? And I didn't wait for that at all on Nvidia. I traded literal chop before the volatility stepped in for the day. Therefore, my thesis shouldn't be speculation, in which it was. Someone did mention the chart to me, so I took a look at it and traded it immediately. I don't know what was going on in my head. Whoever did mention that, it's totally not your fault. 150%. I'm just telling you, I'm just saying what happened. I wasn't even looking at Nvidia, so therefore should be following plan, right? Step away. And then 6, follow your fucking plan. Right? So did I need to short that? Did I need to take those other short positions? No. Was I sized properly for Nvidia? Probably. I didn't take a big loss on that. I lost like half of it, but did I really care? No, it wouldn't affect my day too bad. It could have resulted in a small red day. I actually got the money from that trade back on the previous trade, the trade after trading the correction, because we still didn't know that this was going to be some sort of crazy trend day, right? We obviously got that high volume pop, but I was just trading the puts for the retest back into the pre-market high / 50-minute orb high ranges. Was a pretty solid executed trade, right? And I got in and out for a 50% return, very easy, quick. And then from there on out, everything was revenge, right? I tried to, make something harder, and that shouldn't have been hard, right? So 7, make it easier on yourself. Fuck. Make it easier on yourself, boys. So that's it for the day, or that's it for the review. Yeah, very disappointed, but like I'll bounce back. This has happened to me before. It's just one of them days where you're just out of whack, like your brain isn't thinking properly, and yeah, you're kind of you're just not level headed, and that's honestly what kills most traders. Is what I did on Friday. So make it easier on yourself. Trade with the trend, right? Whenever you see that pivotal, that very crucial volume and volatility stepping into the market and it's favoring the upside, look for entries to the upside on pullbacks, right? I traded the correction, but after that, I should make it easier on myself and trade with the trend. Pick out my relatively strong names, whatever it might be. I could have traded the Tesla gap and go setup that I've been eyeing up to trade back long side after it's been relatively weak all week, despite indice strength, right? So, you head back over to the Tesla chart. Look at the Tesla chart, man. Look at the gap. What do I like to do? I like to trade gap and goes, guys. Look at this massive higher time frame gap that just got filled on Friday, right? Look at the price action off of the gap. You get your beautiful VPA signal, subsequent inside bar, lower volume, tight spread, right? It's going to favor continuation of the upside. I don't even have to trade a 0DT on this. I could trade a 7 risking this low. Simple. Trade this all the way back up to 314. You'd be catching literally 8 delta points, right? Solid trade, right? I could have made it so much easier on myself. Ended off the week with an insane week. I think I shit on SPY 5 times yesterday. All like 50% plus holding my whole size. So, yeah. Garbage, but you learn from it, you live and you learn, and you move on, and you never do it again. Peace.